Hi, it's Alaska Granny. Are you wondering what are some top prepping mistakes that preppers make when they're preparing for emergencies, the unknown, the future? Well, the first mistake that people make is that they focus on supplies rather than skills. You may be collecting all kinds of food, tools, weapons, knives, bug-out bags, stoves, all kinds of things. But if you don't know how to use them or how they'll relate to what would happen to you, the most likely emergencies that occur where you live, then they aren't very helpful. If the power does go out, do you know how to heat up the food you have? Is the food you have stored suitable for your family? Will they actually eat it? While it's nice to have gadgets and handy items, if you don't know what they're for or how to use them, then they're really just clutter in your life and in your future. Have a plan for the things that you stockpile, know what their use is, and how to make them useful to you. A good example, I recently went to a gun show and I saw this really cute Gander Mountain set. It has a shovel and an axe, and it has a handle that you can take off and replace the shovel head or the axe head. The problem is it wasn't built properly, and the first time I looked at it, the handle has a little push pin here that already broke off. So while this is cute, it isn't necessarily useful. And my son was even with me, and he said, "Mom, why don't you just buy an entrenching tool and an axe?" And I said, "Well, I already have those things." I thought this one was sort of cute and it might be handy to have a small set around. And he said, "Some tools are just not meant to be multi-tools. They need to be sturdy and long-lasting. So make sure you're buying quality items and that you know what their purpose is when you get them. Otherwise, you end up with clutter and you've spent money you could have used for more adequate supplies." The next mistake is not storing enough water. You need a minimum of 1 gallon a day per person for how long ever an emergency lasts. You need the 1 gallon for simple food preparation and drinking. Then you're going to have hygiene needs. You're going to need more water. So store as much water as you can. It's critical that you store the water that you need. You can store it in bottles that you buy at the store. You can buy 5-gallon jugs. If you have room, get a 55-gallon barrel. Water is something you need no matter what the emergency is. The next mistake is improper food storage. If you just buy a bunch of food and bring it home and stick it in the cupboard, things that aren't stored properly can get infested with bugs or get stale. Packages can get squished, lost in the back. Cans and packaged goods expire, become outdated. You need to have a way to store the foods in proper containers, have a way to rotate it. Make sure that you're storing foods that your family will actually eat. Another prepping mistake is, where will you go to the bathroom? Do you have some idea of a portable toilet? Do you have a plan for hygiene supplies? Basic sanitation is important not only for your comfort, but for your health and safety. Improper sanitation is a major cause of disease. Another mistake preppers make is talking too much. If you just tell people, "Oh, I'm a prepper, I have stockpiled this, you should do it too," which it seems like a nice idea because you're excited about it and you want people to share in the knowledge that you have and you want them to participate for their own health and safety. People who don't prepare now have a plan. I'm coming to your house, and they may tell other people that they know what you have. So you need to stop talking about it with people who are not like-minded. Be protective of your thoughts and your preparations. If someone says, "Hey, aren't you a prepper? Didn't you have a bunch of stuff?" You can even make an excuse like, "Oh, well, all that food got expired and we had to throw it out." Or, "I watched Hoarders and so I cleaned out my closets. I didn't need any of that anymore." Or change the subject. Then make it a point to work on yourself. Work on your physical health, your emotional health, your creative health, and your spiritual health. The better, stronger person that you are, the more likely you will be to cope with whatever comes your way. We know hard times will come to everyone, but we don't know what it is. Don't plan for just one kind of catastrophic emergency. Be flexible. Know the risks of the things where you live, but then prepare for, I don't know what could happen. It could be economic collapse. We could get sick. It could be a snowstorm. It could be an earthquake. We don't really know. But we do know we will have challenges no matter who we are or where we live. Take into account these top prepping mistakes and go over your supplies and your plans and make sure that you correct them so that you'll be ready to face whatever comes your way. Learn more at alaskagranny.com. Please subscribe to the Alaska Granny channel.